New reports of Donald Trump isolated in his final days. The Post describes his inner circle completely shrinking. He lashes out at those who remain. He's basically, according to the Post, just watching TV, which means, of course, he's also abdicating his job duties, whether it comes to the national crisis of COVID or meaningful follow-up to the insurrection at the Capitol. Remember, he still has, as president, an oath, a sworn oath to protect the nation. He's also lashing out at everyone from Rudy Giuliani, who, of course, was loyal to the end, but he's now instructing his own aides to ensure Giuliani is stiffed and not paid for legal services. He's also angry with his press secretary, as well as Laura Ingraham. He doesn't think they're supporting him enough. Business partners are fleeing. Tech titans have been shutting him down, while Senator McConnell is openly discussing the possibility of purging Donald Trump from the Republican Party with that pivotal Senate vote we were just discussing. We turn now to a friend of the beat, the Art of the Deal co-author, Tony Schwartz. Good to have you tonight, Tony.
Good to be here, Art.
What do you see in this stage of the dwindling Trump presidency?
Well, it was always a race for Trump between whether he would destroy us or destroy himself first. And I truly didn't know the outcome of that race. We seem to have finally gotten an answer. He's going to destroy himself first. Although my older daughter did remind me that Hitler failed in his own coup in 1922 in the beer hall push in Munich, and he was able to rise again. So I'm not comfortable ruling out, counting out Trump completely.
Yeah, I think when you look at the fact that the biggest question facing the Senate is whether this individual should be, as a constitutional matter, barred or not, there's the question of their return. I can distinguish, all kinds of historical figures, but the open constitutional question, as you say, is not resolved if he is alive, and depends what the Senate does. Briefly, can you tell us, from your knowledge of him, how he operates at a moment like this when he is clearly at his lowest isolated place? I'll mention one news item that would just cross the wires. He and Steve Bannon had one of the most volcanic falling outs ever. But Bloomberg has tonight, even though Bannon is indicted and awaiting trial, quote, Trump reconciles with ex-strategist Steve Bannon in order to work on what he's been doing, these authoritarian election challenges.
Well, first of all, they deserve each other. And it shows you what Trump's down to. I mean, it's a handful of people who he'll even talk to anymore. And the minute Steve Bannon doesn't say the thing he wants him to, he'll be out too. What Trump is doing right now is he's moving between rage and delusion. Be very clear, this is unprecedented for him. It's never been so clear that he has a loss. So we don't actually know what happens to a person for whom this is the outcome. But he moves between rage and delusion. Rage is the only rage is the only emotion available to Donald Trump. He doesn't traffic in other emotions. And delusion is in the form of the fictional world that he's created and lived in throughout his life. But it's less fictional reality for him now, more rage, less capacity to believe his own lies.
Yeah, and that's a reminder, again, on the side that a lot of people have to care about because he still has the nuclear codes for 6 more days. What happens to an individual at this breaking point when he has, as you say, fed off lies and delusion for so long? There is some pressure there. Now, I don't know if we're through the worst of this. You mentioned we don't know. I do think it's vital that we learn as we go. Longtime viewers, Tony, will recall you strongly warned about Trump during the 2016 race. And you drew on your past knowledge of him. I want to just take a look at some of your insights, as well as a few memorable moments we've shared here amidst all the news.
Okay.
He'll go to anger, and he will drum up that anger that's sitting inside his supporters in any way he can to provide evidence that he was wronged, the election was rigged, and he didn't really lose.
He lies about everything.
What about Ram Dass? 3 words, be here now.
Be here now. That's another good 3 words.
I have 3 more words for you. Are you ready?
I am.
We got to go.
It reminds me, Ari, of a favorite rapper from the 60s, Joni Mitchell. The real question is, will he end up destroying himself or us first?
When Trump loses the election, he will never acknowledge, he will not concede the election, and he will never acknowledge that he lost the election. Admits nothing, never admit anything, never say you made a mistake, just keep coming. And if you lose, declare victory.
Tony, there's a lot at stake. What must people know? Go ahead.
No, I look at that and I realize how much of a burden I've carried for my role in this for the last 4 years, and I do feel as if a certain weight has been lifted from my shoulders, at least to some degree. So there it is.
And briefly, when it comes to processing warnings, what do people need to know now, both not just the 6 days, but whatever comes next?
Well, what I think he's done, his legacy is that he's unleashed and sanctioned in his supporters a level of violence that will very likely rise during the next 4 years, and perhaps dramatically so. So if his goal was to, upend democracy, he came very close, but he failed. But who knows, because he has unleashed the worst forces available in the United States.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.